The time is now 5:52 on this Monday morning, and here's what you need to know before you go.
An Iron Range woman is accused of biting off part of another woman's finger this morning, according to court documents. It was part of a slew of events on February 24th at the Iron Gate Apartments in Aurora. Authorities say 29-year-old Madusu Jagwara was apparently unprovoked, threw a woman to the ground and ripped off chunks of her hair. Another woman ran over to help when Jawara allegedly tried to choke her and bite part of her finger off. Authorities say she also choked a dog. Eventually, Jawara was arrested and hospitalized. She's accused of trying to bite officers and biting at a nurse. The woman with the finger injury was airlifted to Duluth after her vitals dropped. Bail is set at $500,000 and she'll be back in court later this month.
We're still waiting to learn the name of the person who died when a UTV fell through the ice on the St. Louis River. The Superior Fire Department says it happened Thursday afternoon near Kimball's Bay in Superior. On Friday, we learned the dive team recovered the body from the UTV's cab several hours later. An underwater remote-operated vehicle helped with that mission. When they first arrived on scene, first responders rescued another person involved. Authorities have also not shared their name or condition. And a reminder that the ice is not safe after our recent warm weather.
Tower, Minnesota officially has a cannabis dispensary near Fortune Bay Resort Casino. On Friday, Ishkode Dispensary opened its doors. The shop is cash only and has an ATM on site. The state legislature legalized recreational marijuana in 2023, while most of Minnesota must wait for the state regulations to be established later this year for retail sales. The Boys Fort Band of Chippewa was able to open now due to its sovereignty, like other tribal nations. To make purchases, you must be 21 or older, and you are not allowed to consume products and property. They're open 11 to 7 every day.
A Duluth nonprofit is kicking off a major fundraising campaign this month and needs your help to reach their goal. It's all part of Chum's Minnesota March Food Share campaign. Their goal is to raise $80,000 and 40,000 pounds of food through their Critical Fund and food drive, donations that will stay local. Chum is encouraging everyone, including local civic groups, schools, and families, to donate. The campaign will run through April 6th. If you'd like to help the cause, you can head to our website.
And plans for a new $18 million fire station serving the Cloquet area are moving forward. The Cloquet Area Fire District Board recently voted to approve a 5-year capital improvement plan, which includes the new fire hall project and a preliminary bonding resolution. That vote allows them to start design and construction work to replace their current aging building. The fire district, which serves Cloquet, Scanlon, and the Fond du Lac Reservation, and several nearby townships, is seeking $10 million from the state legislature. Local lawmakers have already introduced bills seeking that funding.